Have you ever wondered if your pickleball friend has an illegal serve? Or maybe you think your serve's a little questionable. Well, think of this video as a mini crash course on the serving rules. At the end of this video, we're gonna give you a little test to see if you can determine the difference between legal and illegal controversial serves.
And for all you skeptics out there, we're actually gonna put all the links to the official rules in the description. So let's get into it. First off, it's really important to know that the score must be called before you serve. The second thing that's really important to keep in mind is for you to serve a legal serve, you have to hit the ball in the opposite diagonal box, and it can hit any line except the non-volley zone line, and of course it cannot bounce in the kitchen. And lastly, it's important to know that your momentum can take you into the court after you've contacted the ball, but at the moment of contact, both feet must be behind the baseline.
Now we're gonna go over some rules specific to the volley serve, and later in the video, we'll break down some of the rules that have to do with the drop serve. So it's really important when it comes to the volley serve. A volley serve is when you do not let the ball bounce before you serve, but it's important that your serving arm must be moving in an upward arc at the contact of the ball, which means you cannot hit down on the ball, nor can you chop down on the ball. Now there's a little gray area here because you may be able to hit the side of the ball if you can hit the ball on an upward trajectory, but it's important to know, again, that your arm must be moving up at the point of contact. And next, with the volley serve, it's really important that at the point of contact, the highest point of the paddle is below the highest point of the wrist. So technically, that's right where that wrist joint bends, right here. It's important to know that this paddle tip must be below that highest point at the point of contact. You cannot have it above the highest point of the wrist. And lastly, when it comes to the volley serve, this can be a little controversial, but the ball must be contacted below your waist. Now, by definition, your waist is your navel. This whole area is your waist. So a good rule of thumb is that that ball cannot be above your navel. So think about that. I know that some of us are taller than others. They are gonna have a higher contact point than those of us that are a little shorter. But for you, the ball cannot be contacted above your navel. So if you put everything together, it should look something like this.
The next thing that we're going to talk about are rules with the drop serve. The first rule you should know is that the ball must be released from the server's hand or the server's paddle face from any natural or unaided height. You might not know this, but you can let the ball bounce as many times as you'd like before hitting it, and there's no restriction about where the ball bounces on the court as long as your feet stay behind the baseline. When releasing the ball, you cannot propel it downwards or toss it upwards. It can be hit with either your forehand or your backhand. Keeping all this in mind, it would look something like this. The last thing to keep in mind here, and this applies to both the drop and volley serve, is you cannot manipulate the ball with spin upon releasing that ball. And lastly, the ball must be visible by the referee. You cannot hide the ball.
So now I'm gonna give you an example of a couple different serves that are a little controversial, and I want you to tell me, is this serve legal or not? Start with the first one. Was that legal or not? If you answered that was not legal, you're correct. The reason that that serve wasn't legal is because I actually made contact with the ball above my navel. Though I was hitting up on the ball, the contact point was too high.
Now I want you to decide whether this serve is illegal or not. If you answered illegal, then you are correct. There's actually two things I did wrong here. The first is that I forced the ball down upon release because this is a drop serve. You're not allowed to do that. And I also stepped into the court before I contacted the ball.
Is this serve legal or not? If you answered legal, you're actually correct. Though I kind of hit the ball with a side slice, and I stepped into the court, I was hitting the ball on an upward trajectory, and I contacted the ball before stepping into the court. That's what makes this serve legal.
Is this serve legal or not? If you said legal, you are correct. I contacted the ball below my navel and I hit the ball from a low to high trajectory. Thanks for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe to the PlayPickleball.com YouTube channel.
And we'll see you on the next one.